what real English sounds like. Real English conversation is tricky. Real conversation is not like what you learned in school. In fact, it often feels totally different. One key difference is the fact that the real speech very rarely uses full or grammatically correct sentences. Of course, in school, those are the only kinds of sentences you learned. You learned about subject, verb, and object, right? You learned to avoid sentence fragments. But then you hear a real English conversation with real native speakers, and you discover that they mostly use sentence fragments. And this is something I immediately noticed when I read the transcripts for some of the other English, pupils' lessons. Yeah, I knew that, most of them tend to use a lot of these fragments in the normal speech, but I still was surprised at just how often they do this. And in fact, they constantly speak in partial sentence. They constantly use run-on sentence. They constantly interrupt their own sentences and change their thoughts in the middle of the speaking, like we do in our own mother tongue, right? And the transcript of a real conversation, that's a totally spontaneous. A natural conversation is completely different than anything you will find in a textbook. And that's just the only one difference. There are many other major differences between real English conversations and textbook conversations, or so-called dialogues. And this helps to explain why even advanced English students have such trouble when they go to the United States, for example, or other English-speaking countries. While these students may have a good individual vocabulary, usually formal, they have absolutely no exposure to the real spoken English. In school, they learned, how people should speak English, but what they really needed to learn is how people actually do speak English. And sometimes, people ask me that, Orkan, are you against grammar? I think it's important to clarify that I'm most definitely not against grammar. I just think that, people need to learn it intuitively, subconsciously. As a teacher, I need to teach it indirectly. But what does intuitive grammar mean exactly? Intuitive mastery of spoken grammar is based on feeling for correctness. This is the method that the native speakers use to learn and master English grammar. By avoiding this grammar study, like learning phrases and using other natural methods, the native speaker learns to identify what sounds right, not what it seems right? And I guess that you do the same with your own language. As you speak, you don't think about verb tenses or other grammar, right? If you hear another person make a mistake, you know it's a mistake because it sounds wrong. So this is the intuitive grammar. And intuitive grammar mastery is the only kind of grammar learning that works for the fast English conversations. Because guys, your intuition is fast, but your conscious, analytical mind is not. So you must learn to trust the natural process and let your grammar improve automatically. Usually my students fall into two categories: those who are excited about this rule and those who are skeptical. I usually tell the second group just to take a leap of faith. Be a scientist. You've spent many years to learn English the traditional way, and look at the result now. But what if you can just try a little different experiment now? For the next 6 months, dedicate yourself completely to the listening first approach method. Use the psychology system. Use all of these rules that I give to you. Give all of your effort for just 6 months, and then check the result. Did your English speaking improve? You can just compare this result that you got from 6 months of this listening first approach to the result that you got with the old school methods. If the listening first approach results are better, and for most people they continue using this. If you still feel that the grammar translation is better for you, you can always return to the method. Good luck.